In the ancient kingdom of Vaelora, where noble houses hoarded magic like gold, there lived an infamous archmage named Aerion Thorne. Cold, brilliant, and impossibly powerful, Aerion had long since turned his back on society, disgusted by its corruption. Whispers called him a recluse, a tyrant, even a monster, but none knew the truth. Aerion had once tried to save the kingdom, only to be betrayed by those he trusted. He had no use for people anymore. So when a sealed letter arrived from the Mage Council, requesting his assistance in caring for a magical asset, Aerion almost burned it. Almost. The letter spoke of a rare elf girl, half wood elf, half highborn, whose magic was dangerously unstable. She had been sold into magical servitude by corrupt nobles, her fate sealed by cursed chains. If left unchecked, she would either destroy herself or be destroyed. Aerion had no desire to play nursemaid, but the last words of the letter gave him pause. You of all people should understand what it means to be condemned for power you never asked for. And so he went. The girl's name was Elira. She was quiet, graceful, with hair like pale silk and eyes that shimmered like emeralds laced with starlight. Though bound by a magical contract, she refused to show weakness. She stood tall when he brought her to his estate, never once asking for kindness. She even thanked him in a low voice for not treating her like a tool. Aerion gave her a room, meals, and silence. He expected little and offered less. But Elira surprised him. She watered the dead garden that had lain forgotten for years. She cleaned the library, leaving behind the scent of herbs and pine. She cooked elven dishes he hadn't tasted in decades. And she asked questions about magic, about the stars, about why he lived so far from everything. He answered grudgingly, but truthfully. One evening, she asked him, "Do you always live alone?" He didn't reply. Another day, "You don't. Scare me, you know." He looked at her then. "You should." She smiled, soft and unafraid. "If you were truly cruel, I wouldn't be alive." He didn't know how to respond. Weeks passed, and the silence between them turned from cold to comfortable. Elira began to learn from him, slowly mastering the flow of her magic. Where others had tried to suppress her gift, Aerion helped her, shape it, gently, carefully. She had a natural affinity for nature magic, her spells blooming flowers and calming storms with a whisper. One afternoon, as they practiced spells in the garden she had revived, she stumbled, her energy suddenly overwhelmed, her body shook, and raw power surged out of her like a broken tide. Without thinking, Aerion caught her in his arms and shielded her with his own magic. It hurt. It always hurt to protect someone, but her hand clutched his robe tightly, and she whispered, "I'm sorry, I'm trying." He looked down at her trembling form and realized something terrifying. He didn't want her to leave. That night, he stood by her door, listening to her soft breaths as she slept. He thought of undoing the contract, freeing her. It would be the right thing, the honorable thing, but he was selfish. He knocked. She opened the door in her nightrobe, surprised. "I've been thinking," he said, voice rough. "This contract, it's wrong. You should be free to go where you please." Elira looked at him silently. "Do you want me to go?" He hesitated. "No, then I'll stay," she said, as if it were simple. "Even if the contract breaks, I'll stay as long as you'll let me." He stared at her, his usually unreadable face shifting into something softer. "You should be with someone better," he muttered. Elira stepped closer. "You are better." And then she did something no one had done in years. She reached out and touched his hand. Moral: true love is not born from grand gestures or fate. It grows slowly through patience, kindness, and the quiet courage to open one's heart again.